Okay, welcome, penny stock billionaires of the world. Today we are going to be running through a analysis of NEXCF, NEXCF. This is a stock that is breaking out. Take a look at this chart. Very important. We are not giving any advice here. These are very high risk stocks. Sure, we have had many winners in the past. In fact, decades of massive wins. But look, these stocks can go to zero, and yeah, you can lose all your money. These are high risk public venture capital type situations, and we are not giving any projections as to possible price. With that said, let's get into the NEXCF chart. This is really amazing. It's almost like the moon market is back. This needs to be seen in the context, in the broad context of what's happening in the market. Look, the market's basically crashing. It's going to go much lower. NASDAQ is probably going to hit 7,000 before it bottoms out, 6,500 maybe. So I take back, the live stream I did about 10 days ago about the moon market coming back. That was actually absolutely dead wrong. If you were following our Telegram channel, I came, I think about 2 days afterwards, I said, hey, this is a massive rug pull. Yes, that was a massive rug pull, courtesy of, I don't know, courtesy of who? But yeah, we can blame a lot of people, but no question that the market is falling. But this is, look, the micro caps have been bottoming out. Probably a little bit longer to go. I'm going to go into those later, but we're starting to see the green shoots emerge. Very positive to see what's going on with NEXCF today. I'm going to get into the fundamentals a little bit, but first I want to look at the charts right now. Let's pull up the what are we looking at right now? We have the 4-hour chart. So this kind of gives you the short-term action. Look, this thing has been, you can see this has been in a clear downtrend for quite a while, since January, since that financing. And the stock has been trying to make a bottom for the last month or so. And this is the first time we're breaking out of the 50-day moving average. Actually, I should say this happened about 2 weeks ago, back in late May. We had looks like a breakout. It was a failed breakout attempt, but it did rally. And now we're back at it again. Will we succeed this time? I think there's a higher probability now because, it's kind of like, when something is rolling down a hill, kind of comes to a bit of a, it runs into some bumps and then, it slows down. So the downward momentum has been broken back in May, late May. And now this is the time when the market can start to shift. I'm going to go into kind of the fundamental reasons why this could be the case. Definitely yesterday's live stream discussion, I think, is opening up people's eyes. Now, if you look at the 1-hour chart, I think this definitely gives us a little more credence as to the upside trend reversal story. Now here you can see a bit of a reverse head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders pattern happening. We're breaking above the 50 moving average clearly on this 1-hour chart. Very strong breakout. I mean, look, the stock is up 27% today. That's a massive move. I mean, that's a big move in any market, but I mean, especially in midst of what's going on right now. I mean, this is a vicious bear market. When you have stocks rallying, that is definitely something, that is very, very interesting. Look, if the market was neutral to an uptrend, this thing would have probably have doubled already. So the fact that it's up 27% while, NASDAQ was down, what is it, almost 500 points yesterday, that's super, super positive. Okay, let's look at the daily chart. The daily chart, you can see again, we've been trying to make a bottom since late May, around the 25th. Didn't quite break out of the moving average. We have not been able to close above the 50 moving average on the daily for quite a while, really all year. It's been quite a while, right? Let's give you a little bit of a backdrop. To me, this looks like we got basically a nice double bottom starting to happen here. Let me draw you a little trend line. What color? What color should we use? Green. I'll do red. I'm going to do it backwards. I'm actually cheating a little bit here. I'm actually cheating because we're actually below, where it should be. Actually, no, we're not. I'm sorry. I was actually correct. Wow, I'm like a genius. I didn't realize it. Yeah. So basically, we're bouncing off the all-time lows right now. This is a massive, massive double bottom happening here. Massive double bottom formation. And look, I highly suggest, my kind of technical analysis. I'm not the most articulate person when it comes to explaining the technical stuff. But it's based on a lot of it is based on WD GAN. Highly recommend you check out WD GAN, Bayer. There's a bunch of like interesting analysts, technical analyst guys, turn of the century, Bayer, GAN, using time price geometry. You got Elliott wave, Fibonacci. It's all that stuff is really interrelated, and kind of my philosophy is kind of a conglomeration of all of that. And look, the way I look at it is the more time a stock spends, building a base, the bigger the upside breakout is. And we've seen that happen. I mean, I've talked about it with Peak FinTech back in, last, what is it, 18 months ago with, was in that range for like almost 9 months, finally broke out. The stock went to $14. That was a massive move. That was a 20 bagger. That was one of our 2 20 baggers. Of course, we had the 50 bagger with Empower. And, I'm expecting that we're going to see some more of these massive, massive moon stocks in the next 12 to 18 months. Of course, this is not advice, but definitely, things go in cycles, and you need to kind of look at the big picture, of what's going on. So the more time a stock spends, consolidating in a double bottom base formation, the bigger the foundation, the taller the skyscraper can be built. I mean, you need a big foundation. If you want to put up a 120-story building, you need to have a massive foundation. And here we have a massive foundation. Another thing I always say is, look, I always believe stocks can go back to their previous highs. Because it's part of like the DNA. Investors, it's all psychology. Once investors see a stock that can do it, they realize, hey, it could do it again. Especially when the fundamentals today are far better for NEXCF than they were back when it was $10 or $10.01 or whatever it was. And again, this was a $10 stock, 18 months ago. What are the fundamentals now versus then? I think the fundamentals today are actually much better. And can the stock go to $10 again? Can this become a 20 bagger? Look, the Canadian regulations prevent me from telling you what I believe, where I think this thing can go. So I can't make any price projections. Look, the Canadians are it's a nanny state, and because this is a the stock is listed in Canada, I kind of come under, some of those nanny state regulations. If it was an American stock, if, it would be in a free country, I could tell you what I really believe. But, I am censored by the Canadian nanny state. So I can't tell you where I think it's going. But, I've said before, stocks tend to repeat their past highs. And looking at this chart, you can see where this stock has been. And look, you got to do your own due diligence to decide for yourself where you think this can go. But here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 2 massive double bottoms in one. First, you got the big double bottom from the old, 2019 or 2018 levels, and now, right? And then you got another kind of double bottom happening here, which is a little bit of a shallow double bottom. It's not quite there, but look, the thing you really want to look at is once we break this moving average on a daily, that is going to be the key signal to watch. Once we close, let's say 64 cents. And if you want to be a little more conservative, kind of that 70-cent level is really going to be the, now, once this thing goes above $1.90, that could mean moon mode again. But, this is kind of like your early warning, early rocket launch alert. I mean, when the rocket is launching, you want to get the alert, right? When it clears the launch pad, right? When you don't want the alert, right when it's already, maybe I shouldn't use nuclear ICBM, nuclear warfare metaphors these days. Probably not good, but yeah, I'll use it. Look, you want to get that alert when that missile launches, right? You don't want to get the alert, when it's already 2 minutes from impact. So, you want to get this alert because this is going to nuke. Actually, there's not really any short sellers in the stock right now. Very few. So I don't think we're going to see a short squeeze. This is more of a this is just more of a new market. We'll probably get short sellers once it breaks, when it crosses the $2. Again, I'm not making any projections, but if the stock should, get into that $2 range, there's going to be a level of resistance there. That's where you have kind of your resistance starting to happen in that kind of $2 range. There's some, resistance. Maybe you'll have some shorts coming in, $2 to $4 range, possibly. But, look, this is very exciting right now. Definitely the stock is breaking out today, up nearly 30%. Let's take a look at that 1 hour chart again. Yeah. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's consolidating here a little bit. I think probably, look, we're at 12:30 Eastern time right now. This is kind of when you have all the lazy Californians starting to wake up. They're just rolling out of bed. So there's usually a second wind to any kind of opening trade. So we could see possibly the stock, closing in the 60-cent range. Possibly that's where it looks like it might go. Again, this is not any type of advice or anything for all you low-life degenerate day traders. But let's look at the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour. Yeah, very nice action. So the question is, why is the stock up today? I think it's because of the fundamentals right now. The fundamentals have changed. We got a transformation happening today or yesterday. If you watch that live stream with the CEO, Evan Gappelberg, who, by the way, I think I've said this multiple times. I think he's probably the number one CEO in the microcap space. I really, no, I would say probably the number one guy. I mean, maybe there's another guy, I don't know, but definitely the number one guy. And I've said this before many times. Even, we've had, we've had our little ins and outs with NEXCF, with Evan. It's like little squabbles in the past. But even back then, I said, look, the guy's one of the top guys in the game. Doesn't matter. So, and why is that? Because here's the key thing you got to realize. And I've said this before, the number one job of a CEO of a public company is to make the shareholders rich, to make the investors billionaires, penny stock billionaires. That's the goal. And, they got to be focused on maximizing shareholder value. That is the key thing. A lot of these CEOs, they don't understand. They get they get kind of wrapped up in the minutia, the day-to-day of like operations. They get into their own little rabbit hole, their own little world. They're not thinking about the big picture of, they're not waking up every morning saying, hey, how do I make this stock 100 bagger? That's what you need. And this guy is doing it. And of course, look, it's not all about stock promotion. That is not what this is about. But, you got to start with first principles, as Bill Dalio or whatever Dalio, whatever that guy's name is. Look, you got to kind of start with the end goal. Okay, so if the end goal is how do we make the stock a 20 bag or a 100 bag or a moon bag or whatever the number is, right? You work backwards from there. So in order to make this, like, let's call it even a 10x or 20x, certain fundamental things that need to happen. You got to get revenues to a certain level. You got to have the fundamentals. You got to be in the right sectors. All those things need to happen, and from there, that drives the stock. I mean, it's kind of all these things need to happen together. But anyway, by the way, if you're first watching this, you're just tuning in, make sure you click the like, subscribe button, join our YouTube channel, yeah. So look, yesterday on the live stream, two things were announced. One is very big news, huge, bigly news. NEXCF is dropping that e-commerce business, which, it was always a little bit controversial. They had those e-commerce sales, which were like, 20 million plus, but it was always low margin. And, look, quite frankly, they were kind of using it as a way to, boost revenues. And at the same time, they were kind of using it as a sandbox, I think they called it, way to experiment with the different AR technologies they were using. Because, essentially, then they can go back to potential, big brands and say, look, we're using this AR in our own business and it's boosting sales. You should use this AR and it's going to boost your online sales, right? That was the thesis. Look, this is interesting. This company, you'll never be bored. I mean, they're always trying new things, new markets, new acquisitions, always new things. Look, Babe Ruth, is considered one of the greatest baseball players of all time, right? Now, I don't understand baseball, but this is from what I was told. But the guy also was probably struck out more than anybody else in history, but he also had the most number of home runs. I think that was whatever they call it. But, look, if you want to hit the grand slams, the home runs, you got to take risks. You're going to strike out, but you need, what counts is, for the Canadians here, multiple shots on goal. You gotta, keep, going for the goal. And NEXCF is definitely doing that. This guy is relentless with this multiple shots on goal grand slam thesis. I mean, the company's always going for the grand slams. I mean, you see every new thing they're doing is always going for that thing. At some point, they're going to connect. And I think you're going to see a massive, massive move. Again, that's not any type of advice, but that's just the way it is. It's public venture capital. You try enough new things that are super high potential, you're gonna hit the big one, right? That's just the way it goes. It's just a number. It's just a question of probability theory. That's the way it works. If you keep going after 100 bagger opportunities, at some point you're going to connect, right? That's, I'm not making this up. It's pure statistical analysis. And anyway, so the company now, what are they doing? They're jettisoning the e-com business, and they're focusing on the Web 3.0 business that they have now. And which is amazing. The market obviously loves the story, because you would think that, they would say, oh my God, the 20 million in e-com revenue is disappearing. Oh my God. No, the market doesn't care. The market wants a pure play story. Look at this 15-minute chart. Very, very exciting. This looks like it wants to go a lot higher. I think we could see potentially a move into somewhere in this middle range, maybe in the 60 range. That'd be crazy. That'd be kind of interesting. I think we might get into this kind of 64 range, 65 range. That's what the chart says. I'm not making any projections. You're going to have some resistance in the 70 range, but it might pop. We might see an interesting pop here. Who knows? Anything can happen. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. Nah, that's not enough data. Yeah, this is too choppy. Let's go back to the 4-hour. How about the weekly? Yeah, the weekly is starting to look pretty interesting. If we can get some nice closes, let's call it above the 70-cent range, that would make the weekly chart look really, really interesting. And look, this could serve right here, this base, as a big springboard for catapulting this stock to significantly higher levels. Again, where could this stock go? I can't make any projections due to the Canadian regulations that prevent me from telling you what I think. But look, I always say stocks can go back to old highs and sometimes exceed them. I don't want to tell you any crazy numbers, but you can see where the stock has been. And the longer the base, the bigger the move can be. So I really hope the stock goes to NASDAQ and just leaves Canada, so that way we could, speak like free people, free speech, uncensored. Look at this. Wow, Naked HD. More cheap sex than Tinder. Thank you. Oh, hold on, I gotta block this guy. Yeah, block him or no? But thank you for the thank you for that offer. Anyway, back to the main story here. Yeah, the next thing is looking really good. Let's kind of go through the markets. Let's take a look at what's going on in NASDAQ. Let's look at the big picture. This is not a good picture. We had the big rug pull last week, and it looks like it wants to accelerate. It wants to go much lower. For some reason, the Canadian regulators, apparently they don't have an issue with me, saying bad things about stocks, or maybe because it's a NASDAQ or whatever, but yeah. Anyway, so let me tell you what I'm thinking. Here I can talk freely. And I've talked about this before. I think NASDAQ, the base could be, we could overshoot the old low, which is not really that bad. I don't think it's a big deal if NASDAQ goes to like 6,500. It's not really a big deal. I think it would actually be quite healthy. And that would lead us into probably January would be the bottom, early January in NASDAQ. Although I think the micro caps are going to bottom earlier, probably in the next, probably by September. The bottoms will be in. We may have some early winners. I don't think the micro caps, especially the stocks that we're following, I don't think they're going to go really lower. I think the bottom is in a lot of these names. And but you're not going to see the big moves going higher probably till September. I really think we're just going to build basis here on the micro caps. NASDAQ definitely going lower. It's it's going to be pretty ugly. Let's look at the daily. Again, I highly recommend you follow our Telegram channel, because sometimes I don't, the market turns and I update our Telegram. I don't do like a YouTube thing every day, because sometimes I'm just not able to do it. Like, I might be like at an undisclosed top secret location like I am now, or whatever. And it's not possible to do a live stream. But I highly recommend you click the link in the video description below to join the Telegram channel, so you can get the real-time updates, top secret Illuminati chart analysis before everybody on YouTube. So if you were following our Telegram, you would have seen, like, right after that, like, very, very bad chart analysis of a couple of weeks ago, where I said, hey, the moon stocks are starting to moon again. The MULNs, the TDOCs, the Teslas. That was a big rug pull. Yeah, they popped like, the next day or two, and then that was it. The rug pull was in. But I don't think those guys are going to go too much lower. Let's take a look at TDOC. Yeah, there you go. This is the daily. It's starting to base. Look, when was that live stream last? The 9th. This is it right here. I think the disruptive innovators are not going to go any lower. I think the bottom is in for those guys. I'm actually, yes. So I would say I don't see this thing going any lower. This is like a low going back to like 2017 levels. So TDOC, I would say, is pretty safe here. Again, not advice or anything. Let's look at another bellwether, DKNG. Also, we're building a base here. It'd be kind of interesting. So I think those disruptive innovators are going to be the first out of the gate. We had a bit of a fake out last week, but I don't think these things are going to go any lower. I think this is pretty much it for these guys. Let's take a look at Coinbase. I haven't looked at that in a while. Interesting. With all this going on, Coinbase has not gone lower, $50. That's actually pretty interesting. I mean, the Bitcoin story, the crypto story today is as ugly as it ever has been. And I think Bitcoin is going to go lower, much lower. I think we're going to go to the numbers I talked about back then. 10,000 minimum. Most likely the 6,000 range. I think 6,000 is the most realistic number. So I don't know why Coinbase is holding up, but it's telling you something. I mean, the charts don't lie. Coinbase is telling you something. We might see, look, it looks like Bitcoin probably will have a little bit of a rally here. But look what's going on now. You got all these Fugazi companies are starting to fold. You have that Clear or whatever it was. Those guys. Hang on a second. Let me see if we get this guy. I want to give a shout. Naked HD, cheapest one-time 18+ dates. And you should be a sponsor. You should be an advertiser here. Oh shit! We gotta. You can't use bad language, man. Now we gotta block you again. So yeah, so we can't have this type of spam going on. If you're not advertising, you can't be spamming here. Okay. All right. Anyway, back to the what's going on with Bitcoin. I think definitely that thing is going significantly lower. But we're starting to see the green shoots. TDOC, DraftKings. Let's take a look at ARKK. That one, again, I think that one is still going to go lower probably. Actually, no, look at this chart. I mean, it's starting to look at this. Is this a double bottom? It could be. I mean, the chart doesn't lie. I mean, this looks like it's trying to make a double bottom here. So ARK could be making double bottom. I just don't understand how it could do it with Tesla and Bitcoin. Man, I don't know. Tesla, I just don't have a lot of faith in Tesla here. But, it looks like it may have found a bit of a base here. So the chart's telling you what it is. But let me see at Amazon. I mean, I can't believe that. No, I think this Amazon is going lower. I mean, this looks like, yeah, it's trying to make a base, but I don't trust this base here. I just don't trust it. How about Meta? Another Fugazi. Yeah, Meta. This thing looks like it wants to go much lower. I mean, this thing just wants to go to zero. How low can it go? I think Meta could go to $25. We can go to the old, at least 100 short term, maybe $25 low, the 2013 numbers. Very possible. That's what it's saying. Let's take a look at Twitter. I wonder what Twitter is doing. This chart does not look optimistic. I don't know what's going to happen, but it doesn't look like it wants to go high. It looks like it wants to drop. Maybe the deal's not going to happen. I mean, the charts don't lie. Okay, so this is the daily. There's the daily chart. Maybe wants to make a bit of a rally, but it doesn't look very optimistic. Anyway, let's take a look at what else is a bellwether here. How about MULN? How about that piece of shit MULN? Interesting. This MULN, we might see a moon mode. We might see this MULN move. This is the daily chart. I mean, I don't know anything about the fundamentals, but it looks like it wants to break out of the 50-day moving average. I mean, we could see like a dead cat bounce here, very, very possible. I mean, this thing could go to $4. It looks like it wants to break out. If it does, it could go $4, possibly $6. I know it sounds crazy. MULN could move. And again, I don't know anything about this company. This could be a scam as far as, yeah, shit, look at this 4-hour chart. Charts don't lie. You know, it doesn't care what they do. I mean, maybe they make dog food. Who knows? But you got a inverted head and shoulders. MULN wants to go higher. All you low-life degenerates. Apparently, MULN. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. And 1 hour, losing a little bit of momentum, maybe. But what can I tell you? What can I tell you? This MULN chart wants to go higher. How about NEO? How about another piece of shit? Interesting. This chart is screwed up. You know what? This piece of shit wants to go higher too. And you know what? It's above the 50-day moving average. Inverted head and shoulders. You know what? This could be the canary in the coal mine. NEO could be the canary in the coal mine. Interesting. That is very interesting. I don't know what that means. It must mean something. How about PDD, stock I actually own? Wow. You know, China could be back. China could be leading us out of the, out of the market. China could be leading us to the moon market. This is the green shoots. Baba wants to go higher. I mean, that's what it's telling you, man. Now, here's what's interesting. When did these things top out? Baba topped out October of 2020. Okay, October of 2020. So that was before the disruptive innovators in the U.S. How about PDD, February? Okay, interesting. So how about not ESC, sorry, C, that's the one I'm looking at, C. No, SE, that's the one. Yeah. How about this guy? This guy wants to go lower. This move is not done. C wants to go lower. But Baba, you know who was buying Baba is that guy, the old man, Charlie Munger. Yeah, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's boyfriend, is bullish on Baba. He wants the Baba. Let's take a look. Interesting. I don't know. I think China could be leading us out of this whole thing. I mean, China was really the first one to go down, right? So why wouldn't it be the first to take us out? How about Tencent? Yeah. Tencent. You know, Tencent. This is interesting. It could be Tencent may have bottomed. I don't know. I like the PDD chart better, to be honest. I actually own PDD and Baba, so you know I'm here to pump. I'm here to do a pump and dump. I'm here to pump it and dump it. Yeah, hopefully PDD goes to the moon, and then I can dump my. I think I only have a couple. I don't know how much do I have. I don't even know how much. Not a lot. Not enough to move the market. Not enough to even make a drop in the bucket. So yeah. Anyway, I think this PDD could go to $200 again. I think we could definitely go to maybe I should double down here. I probably would double down if we go above 64. Let's take a look at some of the. Let me look at some stocks I still own. Halliburton. This is not good. Halliburton. This is not good. I've actually owned it for quite a while. I should have sold it when it broke the 50 moving average at 38, but I'm not disciplined, apparently. So I'd like to see this thing pull back maybe. Yeah, maybe if we get a bit of a pullback, but this is not good. This is not good for the oil sector. Let's look at mobile. Yeah, this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. You know, it looks like maybe oil is topped out. Is it possible? Could be. It could be. That's very interesting. Just when all the suckers are going into oil, it's topping out. Yeah, that could be what's going on here. I don't know. I mean, technically this Chevron chart is kind of still in an uptrend, although it's kind of a interesting down move. Look, this moving average does not lie. Let me see here. Should I get out of the Halliburton? That's the question. Get out and take a profit while you can. Interesting. Maybe I should. Yeah, I mean, you know what? This is the one thing that you want to do. You know, you got to be disciplined. Once these things break the 50-day, either way, you got to go with the flow. And if I would have done that, like on Coinbase, I took a big hit on Coinbase a couple months ago. It broke below the 50 moving average. You know, the chart really, I really shouldn't have bought it because it wasn't a fully developed chart. And, you know, there you go. It was a big hit. I should have dumped it right when it broke the 50-day moving average, because it so far it hasn't looked back. It's just gone lower, and I ended up getting out of it. You know, where did I get out? I think I got out at 150. Oof. I think I paid 2 and change. So yeah, not good. Anyway, let's go back to our moon stocks right now. Let's go to Antar. Let me finish off on Antar and MULN. MULN is looking good. Again, MULN is a complete piece of shit, but the chart wants to go higher on MULN. What's going on? Are we frozen here? Shit. This thing doesn't want to. Okay, let's go to MULN, and then I'll go to NEXCF. Yeah, I don't even know why. I just like these Yahoo charts for some reason. They're just easy on the screen. They're not really. I know it's for like amateurs, but visually, I just like the look. Anyway, MULN looks like it wants the moon today. Let's take a look at that 1 hour chart. Yep. It's climbing the stairs. The MULN moon mode has begun. Again, not advice. I don't give a shit what you do with this, but it definitely wants to. You know what? I see it wants to go high. I can't bring myself to buy it because, you know, it's a piece of shit, I think. But it's probably going to go to $4. I mean, I just can't bring myself to buy something which is, I think, could be a fugazi. Anyway, let's go to what are we looking at? By the way, next week, keep an eye on AIML. This is a stock we are watching, a penny stock here, building a nice little base, very similar to kind of like what you're looking at MULN. So AIML right now 13 cents. This is the Canadian chart. American AIMLF. It's even cheaper. It's like 10 cents, but the Canadian has more liquidity. That's why I show it. But I will show you the American chart just for. purposes. Oh, look at this. Nice little action. The Americans are buying. You know, if you notice, the Americans have been buying over the last couple of weeks. The Americans have been accumulating the AIMLF, it looks like. Look at this volume. 2 weeks ago, volume came in. So I think we can break out if it goes above this 50-day moving average, which I think is probably going to happen. Again, because the Canadian stock, the nanny state in Canada does not allow me to tell you what I really believe it can go. But look, guys, you know my theory about stocks going back to old highs. So you got to do the math. You got to look at the chart and see where it's been. And then decide for yourself. Actually, the correct chart is this. This is the correct chart. So AIMLF, where was it in the past? It's been as high as $1.50. Am I saying it's going to go to $1.50 Canadian? I'm not. But anyway, look, we're building a base. Let's see. We got to take it one day at a time. It's going to break above this really 15-cent moving average. That's the 50. But you really need this thing to close, I would say, above 22, 25, 29 to get a confirmation of a new uptrend. I think we're going to go there. That's my opinion. I'm not saying what you should do. I don't care what you do. We're like literally, I don't give a shit what you do. I'm not here to give advice. NMLSF, that's another one that is a client, just like AIML, no momentous. We're below the 50 moving average, but there's a level of support right here at 7 cents, which I think is going to hold. I think we should be good. Yeah, I think we should be good. So you got that. What else? What else? What other mood stocks do we have? Let's take a look at the daily on Pharma Drug. Yeah, so look, we're building a little base here, 3 cent range. The stock has bounced between 3 and 6 in the last month. Last couple of months. The bottom of the range, it doesn't seem like it wants to go lower, so I think this is pretty much the base. They have some really good news flow in the biotech area. Biotech stocks are starting to bottom. So that is very bullish. Here's the biotech index for you, by the way. That's the biotech index. Looks like we've bottomed. Looks like the bottom is in for biotech index. Yep. It sure looks like it. That's the XBI. This is, look what happens. Every time it's been in this range, we've had a bounce. So I think biotech is very, very oversold, and we could see explosive, massive moon moves in biotech stocks. Once we get some momentum. So, look, you gotta, look at the biotechs, do your research, decide for yourself. But I think we're gonna see some moon moves coming up. Last year, so these things go in cycles. These 10-baggers, 100-baggers, they go in cycles. So the one thing, right after you watch any like Money Manager or anybody, whether it's Cathie Woods or anybody, right after they have that massive year when they're up, a couple 100%, whatever. Usually the next year they're going to underperform, or usually the next year is going to be terrible. But all the money rushes into Cathie Woods, into our stocks, right after a hot performance. After that, you get a horrible performance, and that was last year into this year. So in 21, we only had like 2 winners, and I don't even call them winners. I don't think 100%. I don't think a double is a winner. I think that's actually a loser. So last year we had Origin Foods. That thing doubled from like 30 to 70 cents, 35 to 70 cents in like a month last November. I don't consider that a win, but some people like that. I think what's the other one we had? Bets. I think that was a double back in February of 2021. Might have been a triple even. We had another one, I forgot. We had a couple quick pops. But there were no, 5Xers, no 10Xers in 21. And so it's been like, actually, well, yeah, I mean, no new ones, I should say. Like Peak Fintech, topped out, VSBY topped out a couple months back. But the money is made when you buy, and I think right now we're coming into some really nice, juicy bottoms here. And to me, this tells me that next year, or actually, this is the year when the opportunities will be made. So I think the stocks that we're going to be covering now into like December, like this cohort, is going to be the ones that you're going to be selling in about 12 to 18 months. And you're going to see 10 baggers and 50 baggers emerge. Basically, the 10 baggers and 50 baggers, the seeds are being planted now. I don't know which stocks they are. We never really know. I think some of the stocks we have now could become easily 10 baggers, easily 20 baggers even. And we have some new ones in the pipeline, which could be MULN stocks. So it's going to be very exciting to watch what happens in the next couple of months, because we've got a pipeline of really exciting companies we're looking at. And look, it could be huge. These things go in cycles. The thing is, you got to focus on the correct winning philosophy, the 10-bagger philosophy. Anyhow, NEXCF, let me lead off. Let me close out with NEXCF. Looking very good right here. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Yep. This thing, starting to build a little bit of a pennant. I think this thing wants to go higher. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. See you all in the next live stream.